Hiya, here I'm going to run through some very basic drums. So basic here. We've got an on-beat bass drum that's given us the fundamental beat. And I've got some basic claps. One of the claps is slightly pulled forward in time here. I'll zoom right in so you can sort of see that it's a tiny little cap there. This is to give it sort of a slurred feel. A lot of tech, trance uses this on different instruments to give it a very funky feel. A lot of swings in percussion. Every other beat, if you pull it slightly forward, will give you like quite a nice bouncy swing feel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an offbeat hat to start off with. So I'm going to drag in an instrument called Impulse. Go to my samples, find an open hat. Let's turn up the preview. Right. So I'll add in that offbeat hat to start off with. Program it in. Right, so this will be going in on the offbeat. Why is it not playing that? Oh. Right, so there we go, it's a simple pattern there. Now, to get a running hat, to give it like a bit of lift, what we can do is add exactly the same sample to another slot in Impulse here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the decay down on it in a moment. So I'll go back into my part and just brush in the line here. Right. Because we don't want it playing at the same time as the open hat. And then I'm even going to reduce the velocity on those a little bit, maybe, just a little bit. And then I'm going to run it. It's going to sound like a mess, but then I'm going to turn the decay down on that sound, okay? So you can see you can have quite a bit of fun. You could just map that controller externally if you wanted to, so you could sort of give the running hats a slightly different feel. And that's like one of the sort of simplest patterns there. To add to that, to give like a bit more flow, I'll add another track, a shaker track. So I'm going to throw Impulse in here, go and grab a sample. We shall have a shaker. Okay, little shaker there, pull that in, add a part, paint in the notes. Right, now what I'm going to do here, something slightly different. I'm going to pull these down in volume. Let's preview that sound. What I'm going to do here is pretty much I do all the time with a lot of sound, is add a triplet groove. So I'm going to make the triplet slightly louder, so I just count along 1, 2, 3, yeah, turn on that. You could do it a bit simpler I suppose by group highlighting that way and then turn on that. Right, hopefully they should be loud enough. We'll see if they just sound different enough. Now you can hear the shaker there, and it's got a slight groove to it there. So you can add grooves not only with quantizers, but with velocities there. They're probably the most basic patterns that you could use. Going slightly deeper, sometimes I create a pattern that it doesn't interfere too much with what else is going on, but will sort of complement around the beat. Here I've added like a little click pattern. Let's run this. I'll make it artificially louder here so you can sort of hear it. Writing patterns like this, initially I would literally just start with one note at a time and put it somewhere funky. And as a track progresses, I might start just adding in notes here and there just to give it sort of a slightly different feel. You know, I can do them by sight sometimes. You know, sometimes you might do it while listening. Totally up to you. Stick them in randomly and just see what happens with the pattern. You know, that sucks, so start moving notes around. Anything goes. If you make it too busy, then you know it's just going to sound like mush. Try and keep things simple, unless you're doing complex, slower percussion beats, like jazzy, that sort of thing. For trance, to give it another pushing feel, using rides. Here's like a little loop. Let's solo this one out. And that's like more on the beat, where you can have like a ride cymbal or something like that. That gives it sort of quite a nice pushing feel. On a lot of my tracks, I just tend to use it when I want to change the feel or bring it down. I'd put a ride on the on beat following the bass drum, and it creates sort of quite a different feel. Hope that's helped.